For anyone who sat through all 7.5 hours of Peter Jackson's Get Back documentary, there is one character in the Beatles story that has become something of an unsung hero: Mal Evans. Evans was more than just the Beatles' road manager. He was their confidant, their assistant, and their friend. His contributions to the Fab Four career were significant, yet his life ended in a tragically unexpected way. Malcolm Evans was born on the 27th of May 1935 in Liverpool, England, and grew up in the Wavertree area of the city. Before joining the Beatles' entourage, Evans worked as a telephone engineer and eventually became a part-time bouncer at the Cavern Club, where the band frequently performed. Evans got to know the Beatles when he began taking lunch breaks from his job at the post office to see the band play at the Cavern Club. George Harrison recommended Mal Evans to the manager of the Cavern as a suitable doorman thanks to his imposing 6'6" in height. Mal Evans recalled, "I walked down this little street called Matthew Street that I never noticed before, and came to this place, the Cavern Club. I'd never been inside a club, but I heard the music coming out, real rock it sounded, a bit like Elvis, so I paid my shilling and went in." From there, it was only natural that Mal would become part of the Beatles' road crew once the group started to take off, alongside Neil Aspinall, who eventually would go on to manage the band's Apple Corps company. Mal Evans and Neil Aspinall were by the Fab Four's side throughout the hectic years of Beatlemania, setting up equipment, hassling the group to and from venues, and keeping the thousands of fans at bay. Evans was there for all the Beatles' greatest moments: their huge show at the Shea Stadium in New York, appearing in the two Beatlemania year movies, A Hard Day's Night and Help, and he was with the group when they met their hero Elvis Presley. Mal Evans recalled, "I just sat there with my mouth wide open. I made a big impression on Elvis." It was Mal Evans who had to negotiate with the authorities in the Philippines when the Beatles inadvertently snapped the country's first lady while on tour there in 1966. It was also Mal who came up with the name Sgt. Pepper, and it is Mal who can be heard counting down the 24 bars of orchestral noise in the song A Day in the Life. When the Beatles stopped touring in the summer of 1966, Mal became more of a personal assistant to the four musicians, arranging the instruments at sessions and carefully noting down the lyrics as the songwriters dictated them. Mal can be seen at the start of the Get Back sessions with his assistant Kevin Harrington setting up the drum kit and other instruments for the first day of filming at Twickenham Film Studios. In the Get Back documentary, you can spot him writing down the lyrics to John, Paul, and George's new songs as they're composed. And he even gets the role of tapping along on an anvil during rehearsals for Maxwell's Silver Hammer. It was also Mal who had to keep the police at bay when the famous rooftop concert gets into its stride. When asked which of the Beatles was his favorite, Mal would often give his stock answer: "Which everyone has just been nice to me." Hi, sorry to interrupt the video. Just a very quick, very important announcement. I published a book. That's right, I published a book. It's called From the Cavern to Abbey Road, a journey through the Beatles' iconic landmarks. In this book, we see the story of the Beatles from the places where everything happened. Some of them are famous, like let's say Abbey Road Studios, and some of them perhaps not so famous, like for example the art gallery where John and Yoko met. I put a lot of work and effort into this book, and it would help me so much if you grabbed a copy. It's available on Amazon all around the world, so if you want your copy, please go to the link in the description. Thank you, now back to the video. Evans also kept fans abreast of what was going on in the group's lives, with his notes in the official fan magazine The Beatles Book. He even made an appearance as one of the wizards in the band's TV special Magical Mystery Tour. When Paul McCartney wrote a new song called Let It Be, the draft lyrics included a mention of Brother Malcolm. While there was still Beatle business to attend to, there was also the subject of the group's own company, Apple Corps. Evans discovered a Welsh band called the Ivies and renamed them Badfinger. he persuaded each Beatle personally to sign them to Apple Records, and they went on to have a top 5 hit with Paul McCartney's composition Come and Get It. Mal also produced their single No Matter What in 1970. Once the Beatles had officially split, Mal Evans kept his hand in producing Apple artists like Jackie Lomax. When ruthless businessman Alan Klein took over the running of Apple, Mal was sacked, only for Paul, George and Ringo to reinstate him. However, without the lifeline of the Beatles and Apple, the work dried up for Mal Evans, and things began to unravel. He split from his wife Lily in 1973, and moved to Los Angeles, where he was involved in the chaotic recording of Keith Moon's solo album Two Sides of the Moon. Living among the bad influence of these party animals and heavy substance abusers, Evans claimed he was working on a memoir called Living the Beatles Legend, which was to be the ultimate insider story of the group. On the 5th of January 1976, Mal Evans' life came to a shocking and tragic end. He was living in a rental apartment with his new girlfriend Fran Hughes, and working on the book with his co-author John Herney. The manuscript was due to be delivered 1 week later, but the former Beatles aide was still depressed about his impending divorce. Herney and Evans had an argument that was rendered incoherent due to Mal having taken Valium. Mal picked up an air rifle, and with Herney unable to get the weapon off his friend, a panicked Frank Hughes called the police. When 3 armed police officers entered Mal's bedroom, the former Beatles Roadie pointed the gun straight at them. Not realizing it was an air rifle, the officers told Evans to put the weapon down, but he refused. The police immediately shot Mal Evans dead. He was only 40 years old. Mal Evans was cremated 2 days later, and his ashes were sent back to England, but were lost on the way. While the book Living the Beatles Legend was never finished, a collection of Mal's diaries and papers were discovered in 1986 and returned to his family. These archives are the basis of a new biography of Evans by author Kenneth Womack, which was published in November 2023. Mal Evans' story is a poignant reminder of the complexities and struggles that often lie behind the scenes of fame and success. While he might be an unsung hero in the annals of rock history, his contributions to the Beatles' legacy are undeniable. For those who have seen the Get Back documentary, the amiable and hardworking figure of Evans is a testament to his dedication and love for the band. His tragic end stands in stark contrast to the joy and creativity he helped foster during the Beatles' most prolific years. Mal Evans might not be as famous as the Beatles, but his memory lives in the music and memories he helped create. So this is pretty much it for now. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also follow me on Instagram or Facebook. There is a PayPal link for donations. Of course, every donation will be absolutely appreciated. You can also buy my book. Actually, that would make me very happy indeed. The Amazon link is in the description. Or the free option is just to subscribe to this YouTube channel and maybe click the bell icon so you're the first to know when I upload new videos. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.
Well, I'm afraid that's us run out of time.
Oh,
I'm really
okay.
sorry.
Well,
So,
bye, everyone.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
If I give my heart to you, I must be sure from the very start that you